the people out there that have propelled this show up are the ones that want to get stepped on like 90% of the time. So like
nothing wrong with that, but
nothing wrong with that. But like I once again, this could be boners propelling up this
the sheer power of teenage boners. The force.
Raw
the PSI on this thing, man. Pounds per square inch. Everything about this is horrible.
but you know what I'm talking about, dude.
What's up, guys? You are listening to the Nii-San Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Xell and Crim, and with me, of course, is
Crim. The Asian Avenger. That's me. Woohoo!
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
I returned to the show because we're filming this out of order, so this one will be first. But I am back on camera. I still have some allergy reactions going on, so if you see random red rashes appear on my skin, don't worry. It's a bug, not a feature. It's a feature. It's not a bug. I don't know. So this week we have something pretty exciting. Today's episode we're going to be talking about Crunchyroll's Anime Awards, who recently they've put all their voting for all their nominees of the different categories. So we are going to take a gander at them and talk through them and talk mad crap about Crunchyroll's Anime Awards, which actually, over the years have gotten better.
You know what? I haven't seen that much progression, but okay. I often question why, their selection process and why on a lot of things, but
I've been a lot less mad in recent years than years prior. So we'll see. We're gonna check out the nominees. And,
unless they want to sponsor us someday, then I love it. I love everything you've done. What are you talking
everything.
about?
Yeah. Obviously, everything. You guys need to bring us onto the panel for selection. I mean, with our vaulted anime tastes and knowledge of quality, we're kind of the sommeliers of anime.
Is it the benchmark? Is that what they would call it?
Yeah, something like that, right?
Anime? Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
The
so
High
Crunchyroll, feel free.
The Prater, I don't know. Okay.
The best anime podcast on earth, right?
Yes,
Clearly,
that's
right?
That is it. So yeah, let's jump right into the first category, and this one's going to be the big one right off the bat. This is Crunchyroll Anime Awards Anime of the Year nominees. And this okay. Yeah. And we're back. So because that the ordering of the anime awards, we don't want to talk about the best anime of the year first. We're gonna go backwards through the nominees. So first up, the first thing we're gonna talk about is best film. So in the nominee selection, we have Belle, we have Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time, we have Demon Slayer the movie Mugen Train, we have Jose the Tiger and the Fish, Shirobako the movie, and Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't seen half of these. So
I haven't seen the last three.
Yeah, I've seen the first three. I haven't seen the last three. So that said, what do you think?
So, I mean, yes, I can applaud. Don't get me wrong. Demon Slayer Mugen Train was big, right? For just the world of anime and what it did in film, shattering box offices and things like that for an anime movie, right? And pushing the bar for animation. But I think as much as I want that to be the case, there's another, anime that pushed the bar and raised the bar of what animation was like for quite some time in its existence. And that was Evangelion, right? And after I remember we did that episode where we did a full dive in, because it took us a long time. I didn't watch any of the movies until the last movie came out, and I think that was the same for you too.
Yep.
Because I purposely held off because I had heard how hard it was to trying to get to watch all of it and then never know the ending. And now that we've seen it conclude and wrap itself up, dude, the way it ended was amazing. I love the movie for like on multiple fronts. Animation, I love like the creativity behind a lot of the scenes, like when the show would gradually strip itself down and unanimate itself and go it was purely just artistic. We will not have like the level that Evangelion was going at is so beyond anime. It ascended anime. It's just a good movie. And I think that there's just only Evangelion. That one, it was just by leagues ahead of everything else. Like Demon Slayer is a very good anime movie, but Evangelion is just an awesome movie, touching on multiple things.
So that one gets your vote, Evangelion.
Yep, 100%. I think it's got to be Evangelion.
Yeah, so I'm in the same boat. I haven't seen the last three. I've seen Belle, which is a fantastic movie. It was a visual masterpiece. It was a sonically just very pleasing. I love the soundtrack a ton. I also love Demon Slayer. You know, we got to. I mean, it's just basically a movie about Best Boy Rengoku. So, in that way, it's like these are very high quality movies. I enjoyed them a ton. However, when compared to the genuine, like, size of what Evangelion Thrice Upon a Time did, which was end this decades-long kind of, like, series of it all, right? Like, it just transcended so, like, generational, like, anime. It's, like, hard to put in words for me how important this movie was. And how big of how monumental it is to coalesce all of that history into a single point. It's the same way I feel about Endwalker with Final Fantasy XIV. It's like ending a story that had started like a decades earlier is something that like is just so difficult, right? Like endings are hard no matter what. Like in anything that we've ever, talked about, we always talk about how endings suck, right? But Evangelion's Thrice Upon a Time not only ended just the movie series, it ended the entire franchise. And the absolute balls on them to do that and then to do it well while animating it beautifully. The soundtrack was amazing. Like everything about the movie was fantastic. Like, wow, what a masterpiece. Evangelion wins it hands down.
Yeah, right. Like, and like another thing too is like the director. You see so much progression, like because about him, and if you don't, you might have heard about his personal life, and like you could just see that he has evolved as a person. Yeah. And, like, can you imagine like this is Evangelion, right? Like this is the series, right? Like this is what everyone knows, this is what everyone thinks about, and like let's be honest here, the expectations on this is absurdly high, and they landed it. They somehow landed. I could not believe it myself. I was crying, and for multiple reasons, from joy, from sadness. They did it, and creatively, beautifully done, like brilliantly, like paced, and on top of that, just God, I really love how they animated like some of the scenes and like the cool new ways that they went with it. So without spoiling too much, so yeah. Evangelion.
I think it's one of those things that it's unfortunate that these other movies had to have shared the year with this one. Because, like, I think Mugen Train probably wins another year. I think Belle would have been also a nomination any other year. Like, I think some of these other movies are probably great, but, like, how can you possibly measure up to this one? So unfortunate. Yeah. Sorry, Demon Slayer. Sorry, Belle. Sorry.
Didn't Demon Slayer win like everything last year?
Yes.
I think they can afford a loss. You know what? Yeah. I think they'll be okay.
So, anyways, that's our pick for best film nominees. Let's go on to the next category, best fantasy nominees. We have Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Korra 1. We have Ranking of Kings, That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Season 2, The Case Study of Vanitas, To Your Eternity, Wonder Egg Priority. So what do we think about the nominations? What we thinking?
So you already know. I think everyone that's listening, watching, can probably safely assume that Mushoku Tensei is not on my list of things I want to win. Case Study of Vanitas is once again random as hell. Like, why is this on here? Is this good? Like, did we watch the same anime? Mm-hmm. Best fantasy nominee, dude. Come on, they must have been like, this is like bottom of the barrel. Like they ran out of things if they're putting this on there.
Did they snub anything? I'm trying to think of other shows that came out this last year that I'm like, oh, what, is that what should have been on there instead of, because like when I think of Vanitas, I'm like, how is it possible that this one ended up being so high for them? Like that seems sort of absurd to me, but I guess so. Like
Slime, maybe like that's. I already consider Slime kind of like already pretty low, right? Like mid tier.
Yeah, like
right?
Slime
like
gets by on its name. I think, like, sure,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Slime overall, but like, is it also a top fantasy pick? Like, heck no. Like, if I was comparing it to the other heavy hitters, right? Like, I think Ranking of Kings is like not only best fantasy, but I just think it's straight up one of the best anime of the season. I'm like, yeah, that's great. To Your Eternity, also a fantastic fantasy anime. Wonder Egg Priority, I don't even know why that's even a fantasy thing. Like, I don't even understand.
I see the reach for Wonder Egg, and I can accept that. I can understand that, and like I'm willing to like play ball there. Even but Wonder Egg is not going to win it because Wonder Egg was very good, and then it didn't, and then it got to the like episode 11.
Yeah,
right.
I think Wonder Egg Priority is going to be one of those shows that'll be on here a lot because I think Wonder Egg Priority kind of, you know how certain movies they call it like Oscar bait. I think there are anime shows that are also sort of like award bait, and I think Wonder Egg Priority is like very high up on that list.
Wonder Egg. Quintessential quintuplets.
It's very funny that you went straight there. Okay, yeah.
Oh, weird. Maybe I'm not supposed to be on the committee. Okay.
But like To Your Eternity is another one that I think will probably end up being on here quite a bit. I think Ranking of Kings also is another sort of like award bait show where like I think one of the things that all these shows kind of have in common is like they hit very like deep themes within their show. They're deeply emotional and they have like fantastic animation. So I feel like those two things kind of go hand in hand for being like anime award bait. But I think this is a really weak category. And when I look down this list, and so for me personally, like I think Ranking of Kings just takes this easy peasy.
See, as much as like this seems like a weak category because the latter half of nominees to me, if you look back, fantasy actually didn't have that much.
Yeah, I did take a look back, and it was a little.
But Mushoku Tensei is not it for me. Vanitas, I don't think is so far not on that list. Like Wonder Egg, first 10 episodes, banger. I would rank that higher than like Vanitas and Mushoku Tensei and Slime, because Slime season 2 nothing happened. They didn't get to Walmart until the very end of the season or whatever. Again, like Waluigi. Like I still don't remember what it's called.
Walpurgis. That's right. That's Walpurgis.
I don't know. Wimbledon. All right. So
women's NBA. Like I don't know. Wendy's.
Just straight up Wendy's. That's where they were trying to go. But
Wabasha,
so Ranking of Kings.
I don't know.
God, what? Waterworld. Ranking of Kings, I started way later, and I'm assuming we're just going to assume this is the first half of Ranking of Kings, right? So I can't say Ranking of Kings confidently because I only just started watching it, and I'm like an episode or two in. And so if by default for me, I think it's got to be To Your Eternity. I mean, yeah, it had a problem closing, but it wasn't even a problem. I say problem, and it sounds much worse. But let's just say that it slightly got a little sluggish. Like it slowed down a little bit. I was screaming, "This boy can't miss!" all season long, and then finally they slightly missed towards the end. It wasn't a miss, but it just wasn't on the point. And I mean, when you think about what To Your Eternity was, I wanted to win. Because it was able to make me experience all the emotions that I could ask for. And then the last arc is really just more setup, so I'm okay with that, I guess. But then they bring it back when, the elderly lady, and she decides to get isekai'd, if you would. So like that, like a lot of the show was super solid. It had one of the most banger, like moving and powerful first episodes you could ask for. It presented to you everything that you need to know about the show, and it hit you with the feelings right away. Yep. So I think the fact here is that To Your Eternity was like so well written and able to draw emotions and like just really evoke a powerful emotions from me. Right out the gates is amazing. So and it was very consistent for the like 90% of the show. So I think for the like most of how like most animes go and stuff, I got to vote for To Your Eternity. They absolutely killed it.
Yeah, I think To Your Eternity, I mean, despite its last like kind of mediocre arc, it was insanely good. And so if Ranking of Kings doesn't win this category, I do hope that it's To Your Eternity. Because I think the other ones, like, I do think because of Mushoku Tensei's incredibly rabid fan base, like they'll be like a top picked nominee sort of thing.
Do you think it's going to win? I think Mushoku Tensei is going to win.
It might. It easily could. Like, obviously it's not our cup of tea, but I know that a lot of people do love this show. And like, again, this one's a little different than Ranking of Kings and To Your Eternity, because I don't think Mushoku Tensei nearly like is as deep as the other two shows. I know I'm kind of scared of saying that out loud.
The fan base might have something to say about that. They're going to
start writing essays about like, no, dude, you just didn't understand. It's like a story of long-time redemption and self-confidence and like blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
come watch the main character get marginally better, okay? Jesus.
Oh God. Okay. So anyways.
I mean, yeah, like I actually I want To Your Eternity to win, but who do you think's going to win? And like you want Ranking of Kings to win, but I have this sinking feeling in my gut that it's going to be Mushoku Tensei.
Mushoku Tensei might win, but yeah, I hope not. My hope is with Ranking of Kings To Your Eternity. What I think will win, I think Ranking of Kings will win.
you think Ranking of Kings will beat Mushoku Tensei? I obviously think Tensei is trash, but like
I think yes. I think there's less. Well, so it depends on how voting goes. If it's off of like depending on how hard the popularity vote is weighted against it, I think like Mushoku Tensei is obviously a way more popular show than Ranking of Kings. That's just like unquestionable. But I think people who have watched Ranking of Kings also understand that it is quite honestly a masterpiece. And I think that depending on how those things are weighted, like I think Ranking of Kings does stand a chance, especially when I think that a lot of the other shows on here are quite a bit weaker in terms of like nomination. So
I honestly think Mushoku Tensei will win on popularity. So just not quality. Because the thing is, I think this is more of a popularity thing than a quality thing. So like popularity wise, I think that's why I've got that sinking feeling that Mushoku Tensei is going to win.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they weight the thing. So
I'll even take Vanitas. just not Tensei. Please don't let that anime win. But let me, if you don't mind, look, I believe that in my time existing, right, and my titles, and I've been called many things. I've lived many lives, as you can tell. But recently I have earned my title as the first simp, and. Let me be as the first simp. I think it's just my duty to talk about the best romance anime, right? Like I like this is the category, the next category we're gonna go into. Okay, so we've got a few nominees here. If you don't want to, can I first simp? All right. So, okay. So, nominees for best romance: Beastars Season 2. Fruits Basket, the final season. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. And then Horimiya. These are noise effects for the scenes changing. Komi Can't Communicate. And the Duke of Death and His Maid. True romance.
I just
shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't know about that last nominee. If I was to say what should have been on here, and I'm sad that isn't, is Senpai is Annoying. I feel like should be on nominees here because I think that just edged out. I guarantee it because like how did the Duke of Death and His Maid make it over that? Please tell me, Crim.
Popularity. Believe it or not. Okay, so I know that we did the bet and I technically lost, but by popularity, Duke and his Dookie Maid, honestly, was popular. People loved it, and you know what? preteen hormones and boners are probably what put this on here. So
Can't
and, like,
estimate prepubescent boners, right?
yeah, dude. Look, let's not question that. Okay, like you don't understand the power of that. Okay, so I think that is single-handedly why that's on here, because there. And Senpai is Annoying is probably more like seen more as like a slice of life comedy.
Man, I'm so sad. So I looked it up just to see how they were ranked in popular. Senpai is Annoying on my anime list is higher on both ranking and popularity. So
It's category. It's got to be like category.
You know, if Vanitas is a fantasy anime, if you know, what else was on there in fantasy? Wonder Egg Priority is a fantasy. I think my Senpai is Annoying is 100% a romance anime, and it should have been on there, and it got edged out by The Duke of Death and Is Made, and I'm pissed about it.
Once again, boners out there are what propelled this up. I'm being real though. Like I think there's something that you also might have missed, and that clearly I am upset with for Crunchyroll missing this. It's Bokutachi no Remake.
Oh yeah,
Remake Our Life. That is a romance. That is 110% romance, and that should be on here instead of Duke of Dookie's Maid. But regardless of that, right? Like, so now let's go into the nominees, or not the snubs. So speaking of, like, you know how I had just mentioned that I think, like, you know, Senpai is Annoying is like seen as a slice of life, right? Mm-hmm. So like, I love that show. Now, one of the nominees on here is Komi Can't Communicate.
Yeah,
I love this show, but this show is not a romance. I mean, it's closer than like maybe like it's better to see that than like Duke of Dookie, but like
it's pretty soft. Yeah.
It's soft, right? Like I love this show, and I want it to like win something, but I don't think this is the category for it. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. Yes, that is a romance. It may not be the best one, like it's so mid tier, but it was popular. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. And then Beastars season 2, they did such a bad job letting people know that was out that I didn't watch it until like maybe like 5 months after it came out. And I can't help but wonder if like people listening or watching now even know it's out.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine if we're looking at like example, we were worried about Mushoku Tensei winning off popularity. I don't think Beastars is going to have it unless it's just from the rabid fan base of the source material and the people that are super keeping a finger on a pulse. Mm-hmm. Fruits Basket. This is a heavy hitting haymaker of a show. There's definitely lots of romance. There's like this last season is much darker, right? So when you think romance, you're used to like the lovey-dovey, the mushy, but you're not thinking of like the Blue Valentines and the darker kinds of romances. And this, I think, is on that. It's kind of hard to beat Fruits Basket's last season.
Yeah.
And Duke of Dookie, just again, not on there. I don't care. If this wins, I'm the first simp is upset. Okay. You're all the other simps that are out there lose their powers. I take them back.
Yeah.
But Horimiya, if you've also seen like what we did when we did like anime of the year and all of that, like for ourselves, I think this is like my favorite anime of all of last year, and it started the season off because it legitimately was one of the best things that we have had, a fresh like look at romances in anime where you get to actually follow relationships, not like at past the point when they get together, and you get to see multiple relationships beyond that point. And I think it was just really cool to have like to just get a look at that and what life is like when you move in that direction after you're in the relationship. And then you also get to see all the cool characters. Every cast was like awesome. Every cast member, they did a good job letting us get to know each character and falling in love with each like each ship. So and the most, you know, because it turns out romance, the interactions and the dialogue and the exchanges between the love leads and like, you know, a lot of the pairs and relationships felt natural. They didn't feel like they were like talking at each other. It felt like very organic and that they were actually into each other, not to just move the story. Mm-hmm. So I really liked Horimiya here. I think it is a romance. It is a romance that is like a true romance. I think it's better than Beastar Season 2. Miss Nagatoro is only in this discussion for popularity. Komi, I think, has a chance of winning, but if it does, I don't consider it a romance. It has romantic elements in it, but like it is more of a comedy slice of life to me. Fruits Basket is the only person I would want to win behind Horimiya. So that's me.
Yeah, I'd like pretty much. I'm gonna just echo what you have to say here, because like I think kind of like the film category. I think just the Fruits Basket final season is just kind of a heavy hitter, you know, like Fruits Basket, as far as I know, I haven't watched the final season, but if it was as competent as any of the other seasons, like Fruits Basket is going to be an amazing season. And it's the end of it all as well. Like, I don't really know how any of these shows will stack up with Fruits Basket, if I'm going to be honest. Now, if out of the ones that I have watched, I think I would be pretty happy with either Horimiya or Komi Can't Communicate. Like, we talked about it. You just talked about it. Komi Can't Communicate. Not really a romance. Like, there are romance elements to the show. I mean, it gets kind of, you know, a little gray about like what, you know, genre the show is. Because it's undeniable that romance is part of the show. It just isn't like the forte of the show, in my opinion. Right? Like, so yeah, I think Fruits Basket is gonna win. I think, judging from what I know about the show and what people say about it, I think it will win and deserves to win. But I personally did love Horimiya, and out of the shows here, I think it would be a perfectly competent like second place victory here. So that's what I'm feeling. Okay, moving on to the next nominees here. We have Best Drama. We have 86. Fruits Basket, the final season, Kakeki Shoujo, Odd Taxi, To Your Eternity, and Wonder Egg Priority. So looking down this list, you know, these are some pretty heavy hitting series here, right?
This is a stacked category right here.
Yeah, I like right off the bat for me, like, okay, any category that allows Fruits Basket the final season, like that's LeBron James coming in, you know, like okay, yeah, it's a doozy. No matter what team you put him on, it's like he's gonna be on, you know, he's gonna be a threat. And but then on top of that, you have shows like To Your Eternity, which are amazing, Wonder Egg Party, which, you know, despite its poor ending, like it was still like overall an amazing show. And then you have Odd Taxi, which I think is like easily a front runner for me for like one of the best shows of the year, if not just drama. So, man, where do we start here? And then Kageki Shoujo, I haven't watched. I've never even heard of this show until now, so I don't know about that one.
I'm right there with you on Kageki Shoujo. Like, I didn't even know this existed last. Like, what season did this come out in? Maybe I'll watch it now. Like, and I could be wrong, but like for me, I just don't see that show being better. Like, I don't have to watch it, right, to think to know that I think Fruits Basket wins this. I think Fruits Basket wins this. But what I want to win this is probably Odd Taxi. Yeah. It's Odd Taxi, by the way, like just edging maybe like by percentages over To Your Eternity. Because the level I really did enjoy To Your Eternity was absurd. That was a very, very powerful first season of To Your Eternity. And Wonder Egg, I know that we've talked about how it ends poorly, but if you take away that ending in an ideal world, right? Like, obviously, ideal world, we take away that ending, a lot of things that happen in Wonder Egg Priority, I think, is getting overshadowed by how poorly it ended. Yeah. Like, at least between us two. But when you think back, dude, this show was very good and super duper dark. Like, it is absurd, like how moving and powerful this show was up until the end. Yeah. Like before the ending, would you have said Wonder Egg Priority could easily be an anime of the year?
I mean, yeah. So like, even just numerically, right? I think that show had like back-to-back 10 out of 10 episodes, and then the last one, like even if you gave it a 0, numerically speaking, that still puts Wonder Egg Priority as like a 9 out of 10, you know, show. Like, it is still a fantastic show. It just happens to have this thing of like, oh, the ending wasn't that good. Same thing with To Your Eternity, right? Like, overall amazing show. Just the last arc wasn't as good as the rest of it, right? That's where I think Odd Taxi and Fruits Basket for me really shine through here, because like Odd Taxi I think is gripping from episode 1 to the end. Like it is just a sweet 12, 13, I don't know how many episodes.
I think it's 12. It's 12. And also it's narratively different than how a normal anime is told.
Yeah.
Right? Like not many animes go like and do the narrative the way they did. So
the noir
that's why I
sort
like
of
it.
feel of Odd Taxi is fantastic. It's just the execution on Odd Taxi is so good, and it deserves to win some nomination here. I don't know what other things Odd Taxi got voted in for. If Fruits Basket doesn't win romance or something, it deserves to win best drama. And I think like Odd Taxi would be my pick here, for, mainly just because I haven't seen the final season of Fruits Basket. But that would be. I think it'll be between those two. I think Odd Taxi strangely has kind of a cult following. I see a lot of people talk about Odd Taxi after the fact in a way that like it's kind of surprised me, I guess. And what was one of the things that really drew me to end up watching the show anyways was even though I didn't watch it on time, like when the episodes were coming out, was the fact that there is just like this kind of again, cult following that keeps talking about. So I think it's more popular than, maybe that I think it is, and it might have a chance at unthroning Fruits Basket here.
I don't think that that's necessarily like that absurd to think about, because I mean the steam for Odd Taxi definitely was not really existing or existent at all during its airtime. I think it definitely picked up every new viewer, all the hype after it like concluded. Yeah. But the issue is, no matter how good this is Fruits Basket, right? Like this is, like
LeBron James.
Like this is Fruits Basket, right? Like you don't forget like a title like Fruits Basket, and especially a conclusion that concluded as well as it did. And on top of this is a title that's been popular over the decades, right? Because I read the first initial like run of the manga back on Tokyo Pop in like the 90s, early 2000s, whatever. And then, the anime didn't end too well there. And so now it has all of that like pent up energy, because like, dude, it ended so poorly the first time that people wanted to see how like the hype on it now to see it conclude, and in like a way that is true to the source material. This has to have like everybody's backing. I just don't see Fruits Basket not winning this. Now, if there is somebody else to win it, I think it's Odd Taxi. But like there's a chance the dark horse, the real oddball out here is that it could be 86, because we didn't even mention it, but that's because we both don't like 86. And I fully don't understand the hype at this, like around this at all. Mm-hmm. And I know people love 86, but dude, it's boring. The bots look kind of like they're not that cool a design, and like none of the characters stick out. And I feel like the moments that are supposed to be impactful that the show tries to make you feel for the characters, most of the time didn't even like. It feels like it missed the mark. So, but its popularity is there, and I can't deny that. So if this show in the Crunchyroll Anime Awards is done through popularity votes, because it is, right? Because I voted myself, and it was like shows that and I'm assuming tons of other people are out there doing the same thing. Then that means popularity is the thing we have to factor in, and by popularity, I think Fruits Basket and 86 are probably closer than we think. Fruits Basket's up top, and then 86 and like Odd Taxi are probably closer than we think. So, so again, Fruits Basket is who I want to win and who I think will win. And I guess like at the same time, Odd Taxi would be the runner up for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's keep moving along. Okay, so the next one we have, next nominees are for Best Comedy. So here are the nominees. Don't Toy With Me, Ms. Nagatoro. Heaven's Design Team. Komi Can't Communicate. Uramichi o Niisan. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S. And Odd Taxi. So right off the bat, like I'm confused here because I don't think Odd Taxi is very funny. like
not in the sense that it's a comedy, right?
I just like out of any of the genres to put Odd Taxi in, I'm just like I don't know why this is here. And then I think a really, really big notable snub on the comedy section here is Miruko-chan, which I'm surprised isn't on here. And so like I think it's very strange for Odd Taxi to be in here. And then like this is just a personal thing.
Odd Taxi. What?
Yeah. Another show that I think got the snub, and I guess this is for good reason because it's not a very popular show, but I think Vampire Dies in No Time is like legitimately funnier than some of these shows too.
Full send that. Full send that.
So like, yeah, I don't know. I just think there's some weird choices here and some weird snubs. I don't know if Miruko-chan ends up like somewhere else, and maybe they got like nominated for too many other things, so they didn't want to put it again in Best Comedy. But Odd Taxi being here, like I recently watched Odd Taxi. This is a very recent thing, and like there are funny moments that happen in it, but it is not a funny show. So
yeah.
I don't get it.
That's a total like what happened? Who made this list? Or like once again, Crunchyroll, you can hire us. We do this. We watch it. You know, we have a podcast for a reason, right? Like, how is this funny? What's funny? Like, I mean, there are funny parts like Xell mentions, but this is not a comedy, dude. Like,
yeah.
So assuming that, right, and because of that, I've already written Odd Taxi as not somebody I want to see in this category, right? So
same.
And I love this. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome. Just not the right category for it.
Yeah.
So Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. I think it has its charming points, but it can be funny, and it had some parts that made me chuckle. But I'd rate this show like as a solid C+. And I think the people out there that have propelled this show up are the ones that want to get stepped on like 90% of the time. So like
nothing wrong with that, but you know,
nothing wrong with that. But like I once again, this could be boners propelling up this like you know?
The sheer power of teenage boners. The force.
Raw
the PSI on this thing, man. Pounds per square inch. Everything about this is horrible.
But you know what I'm talking about, dude. It's propelled by and held up by that, I think, because other than that, the show is very medium. Like it starts off strong, and it just kind of. It's not like it's bad. Like I'm going to watch second season, but like second half of it just kind of trends to like a little, not like to where it falls off, but like it's just kind of mid. So it's okay. And then of course there's Heaven's Design Team.
Yeah.
Like that show was pretty funny. I'd rank that higher than Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. But same in that like I don't think that's the clear-cut winner here. I did enjoy it, but there were some episodes where there wasn't even a laugh. It kind of felt like it just dragged.
Yeah.
And then Life Lessons with Orimichi Onisan was pretty damn funny. I thought it was pretty damn funny. Like this, I can see why it's up here. Like it's just like that dark, self-deprecating humor that I'm all for. Right?
I think I'm really actually happy that Heaven's Design Team, Uramichi and Niisan came up on here because like I don't. Yeah. Those are not very popular shows, I don't think.
Right.
But I think they deserved a nomination somewhere because I think both of them are pretty good shows. So I'm glad that I'm glad they're here.
And then there's Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, right? Like this show is hilarious. It's charming. It's so cute. This is the heavy hitter, right? Like I love Uramichi-san, right? Like I love that show. But Dragon Maid? Come on, man. Like this feels like the heavy hitter. This is one of the titans of this category. And then Comey is the other one.
Oh my god. And between those two, dude. Oh god.
Yeah, how do you pick? How do you pick?
I legitimately like I'd have to look at all the nominations and be like, okay, let's just like kind of divide them up, you know, because like those are both going to be heavy hitting animes in whatever category you can slot them into. So I'm kind of like, okay, if Komi Can't Communicate wins like I don't know best romance, then give this one to to Dragon Maid because they're both like such amazing shows.
Better not win best romance. I would be tilted. This is where Comey should win. I'm picking Comey here. I love Dragon Maid. I think it's great. But Comey just perfect. Beautifully done, like well animated, charming. Every character is great. Just, I'm not to say that Dragon Maid doesn't have that, because I mean that's where Fafnir exists, and as long as our Lord Fafnir exists, there's always a chance.
All hail Fafnir.
Like just Comey though. I think there's something about it. Like, it's so entertaining in the way they write the main character. Like, you have Comey, right? I don't think of Tadano as the main character. I think of Comey, right? Because that's the title of the show. The character, she suffers from severe social anxiety, so she can't talk, right? So it's essentially she's able to steal the scene, drive the scene, and be charming, right? And all of that without talking. It's like watching a movie. Like, did you watch Drive by with Ryan Gosling? Obviously, that's not a comedy, but like the thing here is, he was able to act, right, and get all these emotions and move the story and move the scenes just by looking and his eyes. Like, he acts with his eyes, right, and facial expressions. He didn't have to do more than that. And I can always applaud. I think there's something about that when a show does that, a movie does that. So I think I have to choose Comey here, because that's an interesting way to go about it. Yes, the supporting cast also helps move the show too, because without Tadano, she's just making weird googly eyes and cat ears at you. Like, no, nothing, right? So, but like that also has its own charms to it, and that makes it funny. And like, I just love every character. Maybe not so much the yandere creepy girl, but like she serves a role, a purpose in the show, has her role, and she does it well. So I think it's Comey for me. It's Comey.
This one's really tough for me. Like you said, I love Comey Can't Communicate. I think it's very funny. Like, I looked forward to watching it every week because of how, like, the show sort of just embodies just the best of, like, I don't know, adolescent, like, fun times. Like, I don't really know how to put it besides that. It's just like the show is just so much fun. Like, just like the purest distilled form of fun. And like, Comey Can't Communicate introduced me to Najimi, who has become like one of my favorite characters in any show ever. I think Najimi is fantastic. I don't know why Crim is pointing at himself. Like, that's just weird. That's just very egotistical of you, Crim. Like, I don't know.
That's the most Najimi thing you could do.
Okay. But I think,
I'm just saying, we pointed it out before, and even Zeri said it herself. Your own girlfriend
she
said
doesn't know what she's
Crim
talking about.
is like Najimi. And I'm like, that's why Josh hangs out with me.
All right, we're cutting that. We're having technical difficulties. No, but I think if I had to pick between the two, I do think Dragon Maid is just... I can't vote against Dragon Maid, man. It's like... I think they're both similar in that they have just such a amazing, well-rounded cast of characters. It's actually funny. The characters I least like from both shows have very similar qualities. Like, I don't like the stalker girl from Comey, and I also don't really like the girl who fawns over Toru or Kana, all the time, and like is like really creepy.
But she has the shiniest 5 head.
That's her saving grace, Crim, is that she has a shiny forehead.
5
Oh my god, I gotta start polishing my forehead. That way Crim will forgive me for anything.
Dude, did you just like key my car? Look at my forehead. Oh, you're fine, man.
You're blinded. I'm doing the Krillin flash. No, I just think that Dragon Maid, there's just a charm about it that I love, and I love... I think the thing that really brings me all back with Dragon Maid is that they always kind of bring it back to like real life examples of things that you can take and kind of come away with. Like, it has something kind of more to say about life. I think Comey is a really great, fun show, but I don't think it really has much more to do with like takeaways that you can be like, okay, like, I'm not saying it has to teach you how to make friends or anything, but like, I think the best of shows are the shows that like you can come away with like knowing a little bit more about yourself or whatever. And I think Dragon Maid actually hit that with their second season, which is insane because I really
Comey
didn't imagine.
do that?
Comey-san, I just felt like was just good fun, and it's like it shows the importance of having like a good group of friends, right? Like, and it does what it does really well. I think that's fantastic. But I think like one of the things I loved about Kobayashi's second season was that they took this sort of absurd show and this absurd concept, but then they actually grew the world of Dragon Maid, and I loved all the backstory that we got with some of the other characters like Elma and well, mainly just Alma and Toru herself, like, and their sort of like long history together, and getting that was just amazing, and all the little side stories between all the characters. I don't know. TBH, this is like so close to me. Like, I think if
it's like a hair's difference, dude. Like
it's like a 0.1 difference for me. Like maybe Komi Can Communicate is a 9.9 for me personally, and Kobayashi is a 10. But that's like literally the margins that we're talking about. I would be happy for either of these shows to take it. Honestly, like
what if the only thing Odd Taxi wins is comedy for some odd reason? I'm like, you all think this is funny? Is this comedy? I don't understand.
I would be.
Am I out of
question
touch?
Marks.
Like with the world? Like what's going on?
I mean, don't answer that question, please.
I guess that's true. That could still be true and not based on this. So. But okay, so that was best comedy, right? So I think I'll bring us in for the next one. Okay.
We still have quite a few categories to go here.
Yep. So the next one is going to be Best Action Series. And we've got Attack on Titan Final Season Part 1, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba Mugen Train Arc, Jujutsu Kaisen Act 2, SSSSS Dynazeon, Vivi Fluorite Eyes Song, and of course, Wonder Egg Priority?
It had some action.
It has
sequences,
action? Yeah, it has action. Okay,
we're like 40 minutes into the podcast, and we still have 14 categories to go. So
we'll go. We'll pop them off.
We'll start picking up the pace here a little bit. So best action, Wonder Egg Priority is still kind of a weird pick, even though it does have action scenes. I think it's just like true and blue, a drama more than anything else. That's fine, I guess. Whatever. I think the easy top 3 for me here is Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. Those are also going to be the most popular shows. So like,
it's Demon Slayer. It's not Demon Slayer. It's Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer in the same thing. Like,
that shows you, by the way, Demon Slayer Mugen Train had action, and I love Vivi to death, but I don't think that it's the best action show.
Yeah, right.
And I just don't like Attack on Titan. So Jujutsu Kaisen. By leagues ahead of, I don't even care what Dynazeon would, like, I don't know, is that UG Light on the cover? It doesn't matter. The thing here is, I am all for Jujutsu Kaisen. Yeah, fanboy one over, I get it. But like, I think Jujutsu Kaisen had some of the best animated fight scenes. Problem solved. Best animated fight scenes, best characters. They know they know the assignment. They killed it.
I've heard great things about SSS Dynazeon. I haven't watched it. I loved Vivi as well, but like, holy moly, dude, Jujutsu Kaisen, some of the fight scenes that happen in Core 2 in particular are just fantastic. Again, Attack on Titan Final Season Part 1 feels a little weird to me as an action. There's action sequences. Actually, no, that's not true. There's a couple fight scenes that are pretty sweet in it, but I still think Jujutsu Kaisen for me takes it, but I would be more than happy for Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, or Jujutsu Kaisen. I think they're all competent action shows, and I'd be happy with any of them.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Oh, here we go. Best ending sequence. We have Shogeki Yuko Ando, Attack on Titan. Yasashi Suisei, Yaosobi Beastars. Shirogane Lisa, Demon Slayer, Mugen Train Arc. Nine Reona, Shadow's House. Infinity Yuri, Skate the Infinity. Gambare Kumoko-san no theme, Watashi. So I'm a spider, so what? Okay. So the way I like to talk about ending is like I like to separate the animation and the song, and there's like it's not always just the song, because like some of these are great songs, but like maybe I don't like the animation that much, right? Do you like this? Your pick is the spider one?
I'm not even joking you. I genuinely love the spider outro.
Spider outro is, if you guys have not seen the spider outro, it is like absurd as all heck. It is like all part like. It's like a metal song with like, I don't know. It's like crack.
the voice actress sings it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like she's like dude, I respect that. And I think that like what's on screen, what the animation is hilarious and fun. And then of course the song itself, absolutely nutso. I don't know if I'd listen to it normally, but by God, does that feel like a good anime outro.
Yeah, I can't really argue with the fact that I think that the outro for Spider is like really crazy, insane. The animation, the song, the fact that they use the voice actor in it, I think those are all awesome. But I gotta say, I love the song from Shadow's House. I think that one's worth mentioning. I also think Skate the Infinity had a banger outro song too. And I love the art style of it too. So personally speaking, I might actually give this to Skate the Infinity. Also, the Spider outro started to wear on me after a while because it's so much, but I do love that. I still do love it. So I would go for any of those three, personally speaking.
Yeah, Spider outro legitimately makes me want to go like punch a bunch of trees or something like that, or do something significant.
Of course, we can't talk about ending without talking about the openings. So let's talk about this stuff. We have Boku no Senso Shinsei Kamata-chan, Attack on Titan Final Season Part 1. We have Kaibutsu Yoasobi Beastars. We have Vivid Vice Huya Extended Jujutsu Kaisen Core 2. I Know Supreme Fana Miss Kobayashi Dragon Maid S. We have Odd Taxi Skirt in Punpei Odd Taxi. And we have Crybaby Official Hige Dan Dism. Oh man, I mean, these are some bangers.
This season, like, okay, so I actually didn't like Crybaby. I still don't like Attack on Titan. And I love Jujutsu Kaisen to death. But I actually feel like once they switched off Kai Katan, whatever, the intro wasn't as good. So, and then that leaves me with, of course, Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. That one was solid, but I got to give this one to Odd Taxi. I love Odd Taxi's intro. Skirt and Punpei is amazing.
Dude,
instrumentally,
that song,
visually, it's good. It checks. It hits everything for me.
I will say that I think that the animation of Vivid Vice is absurdly amazing. Like, I love that. You know, actually, speaking of which, I am so pissed that they didn't have the ending sequence to Jujutsu Kaisen here instead of the opening. Because I actually think that the ending of Core 2 sequence should have been on there, 100%. That was like one of my top favorite ending songs / animations ever done in an ending sequence, and it wasn't on there. I just realized. But looking at the opening here, dude, Odd Taxi. Oh, yeah. Dude, that song is so good. I love the style. They somehow captured. I love like the little sequences they added for each of the different characters that so perfectly match what the character is about. You know, they had like the monkey, they had Dobu punching the punching bag. You had the crazy guy catching the erasers, and like they just like captured that spirit so well. And the song is just, what a banger song. It's so good. It is so good. So yeah, Odd Taxi takes this one for me. So next category we have best VA performance in English. I cannot speak to any of these, so
I haven't watched a dubbed anime in a very long time, man. Since Yu-Gi-Oh, probably. So
okay. So we're just going to skip that. We'll go straight on to best VA performance for Japanese. We have Ayane Sakura, who voiced Gabi Brown from Attack on Titan. We have Yuki Kaji, love you, who voiced Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. We have Kiyoshi Kobayashi, who voiced Daisuke Jigen from Lupin the Third. Natsuki Hanae, Odokawa, also surprisingly Tanjiro's voice actor. Aoi Yuki for Kumoko. And we have Kanata Aikawa as Iota from Wonder Egg Priority. Just straight off the bat, the person I think who deserves this the most, even though, look, Yuki Kaji is a legend. Natsuki Hanae, upcoming legend. Kiyoshi Kobayashi, also a legend. This is a stacked crew here.
Yeah.
But Aoi Yuki carries the living Jesus out of Kumoko.
We talked about this, right? Like when the season aired and whatnot. Dude, she is the whole reason the show works.
The legitimately carry here.
Yeah, she puts the whole show, everybody else on her back. I've never seen anyone so in tune with like an animated character. She is perfectly in, whether or not that's good that she's in tune with the spider, but she is so in tune with it that I could not believe how good that VA is. She's a killer. And she even, again, did the outro. That's my choice, by the way.
Yeah. I agree.
100%.
I agree 100% here too. Like in a show that has pretty subpar animation, just like a pretty subpar story even, like the only reason why it was worth watching was for her performance as Kumoko. I mean, it was absurd. I love Yuki Kaji as Eren Yeager, also did great. I think Natsuki Hanae as Otakawa was fantastic as well. But man, did a show get carried by Aoyuki? So.
Seriously.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Ooh, best score nominees. We have Hiroyuki Sawano, who's going to be the popular pick with 86. You have Yuki Kajiura for Mugen Train arc. You have Mabanua for Megalobox's Nomad. Punpei, Vava, and OMSB for Odd Taxi, Satoru Kosaki for Vivi, and Dede Mouse and Mito for Wonder Egg Priority.
This was a pretty cool like score for Megalobox 2. Mm-hmm. I thought Nomad did a very good job, but I think for me on this one, I'm going Vivi. Like the whole show is about a vocal light, right? Essentially, a singing AI. So the music had to match, and they did a good job. They responded quite well. A lot of the songs on Vivi's score was really solid.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, I don't usually actively keep track in my head, like, oh, what scores were awesome. They have to be pretty exceptional to like kind of stand out to me, right? And so the shows that stood out to me in terms of their music out of these ones, I like you said, Megalobox 2, Nomad. I think the soundtrack to that show was amazing. They perfectly captured the spirit of the show in its music, which is amazing. I also love Punpei, the Odd Taxi soundtrack also stood out to me as being like pretty evocative of what was happening. But it's a lot of it I felt like wasn't as like musically as interesting as I'm going to say as Vivi. I think Vivi also, it's wow, a show about music has really good music. That's crazy.
Imagine
man.
if it had bad music.
Well, I was kind of pissed about Tact Off Destiny, and look at that, they're not on here. So
no, weird.
But I think I give this to Vivi. I would also be very happy for Mabanua Megalobox 2 because I thought that soundtrack was amazing as well. We're going to speed through here. Best character design. Tadashi Hiramatsu, Jujutsu Kaisen Core 2. Baku Kinoshita and Hiromi Nakayama for Odd Taxi. Atsuko Nozaki, Ranking of Kings. Michinori Chiba, Skate the Infinity. Loundra from Flat Studio. And Yuichi Takahashi for Vivi. Saki Takahashi for Wonder Egg Priority. All right. What are your thoughts here? Obviously, character design is pretty subjective, but...
Right. Like, so when I think of character designs, that's kind of like, that is very subjective. And I think, so Wonder Egg, I don't think there's much to like really, like, I like Wonder Egg a lot, but I don't think that it's going to beat like some of these other titles here. Vivi, I think is actually probably under Wonder Egg Priority. And then I would go Skate the Infinity underneath both of those. But Ranking of Kings, I'm still too new to fully give a rating on. And then Odd Taxi, I think Odd Taxi has some really good character design. I cannot deny how good it was. But then there's Jujutsu Kaisen, right? And then so you have like design-wise, right? When you say design, like if you're talking about like visually the outfits, you know, Jujutsu High kind of like pretty basic, right? Like it's very very. I mean,
most
basic.
of them are in that black uniform, so
right. So, like, the only characters that kind of visually stand out are like, things like the villains, right?
Yeah.
And like, Yuji's hair. So, other than that...
Gojo's eye patch.
It's Gojo's eye patch, sure. So, I think it's got to be Odd Taxi here. they did a good job designing every character. They did a good job like turning animals and really made them humanoid like, and I love that. And then like example, like my favorite design is still the 2 police officer dogs that are just adorable.
Yeah, like, the Daimon brothers.
Yeah. So I just think they did a really good job with Odd Taxi's character design. So I'm choosing them.
There's some stuff I want to talk about Odd Taxi, but I feel like it'd be spoilery, so I'm not going to. Crim, you need to finish the show because holy moly, does Odd Taxi have some interesting stuff that happens. I think Ranking of Kings has also fantastic character design. One of the things that I think Ranking of Kings is really good at is they take character designs that you would expect and subvert them in really interesting ways. And I think the character design is one of the weapons that Ranking of Kings uses against the viewer, and is one of the reasons why I think the show is fantastic. So that one's very high up there for me. Skate the Infinity and Wonder Egg Priority, like they have very like realistic designs, right? But I do think like I think they are worthy nominations here in that I think the characters embody the spirit of who the characters are, right? Without also being too formulaic. Cause I think like, especially with like Skate the Infinity, oh, big buff guy has his abs showing. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, the tech guy wears glasses. Wow, that's crazy, right? And so like Skate the Infinity, I think kind of sometimes falls into that a little bit. Wonder Egg Priority a little bit too with like, oh, the girl who like has gender identity issues has shorter hair. Wow, that's I understand there's some tropes there that but I think that they do work in the tropes in sort of kind of like interesting and colorful ways, which I appreciate from the design's perspective. But I have to dude, I'm such a simp for Ranking of Kings. I'm sorry, but I just like the way that the artist is able to create characters that subvert your expectations of who you think they are because of like our sort of experience with fairy tales and the way we like expect certain characters to be like, I think is one of the things that makes the story of it good. And I think that's like the big selling point. The other nominee that I think is just behind Ranking of Kings for me is Odd Taxi, because again, kind of like Ranking of Kings, the character designs can subvert you, right? Like the main character is a literal walrus, but like he's also incredibly intelligent and observant in a way that like doesn't really embody what we think of as a walrus. The monkey guy Dobu, you think, oh, he's a monkey, he's going to be all hot-headed like violence guy, and turns out he is very interesting and has like a very interesting set of ethos. And so like I love both of these shows and their characters design, in that they subvert your expectations and they use it as like a storytelling device, which I think is amazing. So either of those shows I'd be very happy with.
So the next one is Best Animation. So you'll have Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba Mugen Train Arc, Jujutsu Kaisen Core 2, and then Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S, and then Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Core 1, and then Vivi, Fluorite Eyes Song, and Wonder Egg Priority. Dude, these 6 shows do have good animation. I do think that Mushoku Tensei does look good, but it also looks it looks just so okay in comparison to like the rest of these shows. Wonder Egg, I think, was beautiful, absolutely stunning animation until the end, where it's like, wait, we ran out of money. Like we hardcore ran out of money, right? Like so. But Vivi closed. Vivi looked good all the way to the end. I was sweating, dude. I was sweating after Wonder Egg Priority. Vivi closed well visually, and then of course Demon Slayer, dude. When I watched that movie, you watched that movie. The beautiful blend between 3D and like the 2D styles, they killed it. They absolutely killed it. I thought that was awesome. And the fight scenes, the way they animated, like Rengoku's things, like his flames, they were absolutely stunning and like breathtaking. Dragon Maid, I didn't know you needed to flex that hard just for a slice of life anime. Like Jesus Christ, dude! I'm like, damn. All right,
bro, chill out, man. It's just a show. It's just a slice of life show, man.
Yeah. This is the person where it's like, like, okay, this is our first time doing this. We're just have like we're doing a new raid or something. Like, we want pots. I want to do everything. They're like try harding. They're sweating and like just over the simplest thing. All right, this is the intro. Okay, so I love Dragon Maid, but like, damn, dude, they went hard on the animation.
Yeah.
They even found an excuse to throw in a battle. That's how much they wanted to do it. So, but then like, I'm gonna go Jujutsu Kaisen, right? You know that. I'm a simp for Jujutsu Kaisen, just like you are for Ranking of Kings. And dude, you cannot deny that Jujutsu Kaisen looks amazing at every point of the show. There isn't a thing I don't like about it at all points. The way they, like so we're talking about Core 2. I think at this point now, Yuji has learned how to do Black Flash, right? So like that fight scene with him and like, you know, the like him and Toto, like when they do that fight. Then there's of course Nobara's fight with Yuji. There's so many things in Jujutsu Kaisen. We'd already mentioned this before. Jujutsu Kaisen single-handedly now has raised the bar on how good animation has to be essentially in what is a shonen battle style anime. And so of these 6, dude, Jujutsu Kaisen. And I say that with Demon Slayer Mugen Train. That's Ufotable, right? Like Ufotable, whatever. Like that's them, and like, you know, you've got Dragon Maid right behind that. These are heavy hitters in the animation like section here, but Jujutsu Kaisen just steals it for me.
Dude, I'm disqualifying Demon Slayer. Like, how dare they put this under best animation when they have movie quality animation? It, like they had movie budget for a show. Yeah. Like this is dumb. This is like, how dare they do this? This is cheating. This is the reason why they made this a TV arc as well as a movie arc. It's so that they could cheat into the award ceremony. Like, I personally, if I was
look at
to
this
say,
whale.
yeah, like I just like, if you were to go with best animation for me, like I would go with Mugen Train, but also it's just completely unfair to the other people in this category because they did not have the same sort of time and budgeting as Mugen Train. So like, I think this is like super unfair to the other categories. I'm gonna go with that's actually tough. I think Jujutsu Kaisen. I think Jujutsu Kaisen is amazing. I think like out of these shows, I actually think Vivi probably has the weakest animation, and even then, Vivi has some amazing animation sequences. Like I think about the hand-to-hand combat sequence between Vivi and that one girl on the like
was worse than
hotel
Mushoku
satellite.
Tensei?
I think Mushoku Tensei's animation's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I think it's
like,
good, but like but Vivi's is better.
Oh,
I don't know.
Maybe
it's style, but like yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think best animation can be tough to talk about sometimes because like I think art style can shift how the animation looks and stuff. Because like I think in some ways, I think Mushoku Tensei is maybe one of the top here for animation. Like they do so many like. They render each animation's like scene so beautifully that it's hard to ignore how good the visuals are. And the thing too is that Mushoku Tensei is a very like typical isekai. I mean, you know, because it is like one of the progenitors of this of the genre, but like it does fantasy animation better than almost any other fantasy show I've ever seen. Like I even though I hate Mushoku Tensei's story and I hate its characters, there's not a lot of things I can say about its animation. I think it's up there with anything else here.
It's still very good.
I actually think it's like maybe peerless in its own category. However, I think in terms of sheer impact, I love the way Jujutsu Kaisen is animated. There's a sense of style to it that I particularly really enjoy. So like I think Jujutsu Kaisen is very high up there. Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, it's almost unfortunate that it's a slice of life show because the animation's so good that like yes, the facial expressions that they do in like the funny cute moments are like ridiculously over animated, but it's not they don't get to like flex in the same way like Jujutsu Kaisen does with their constant sort of like fight scenes and stuff. Even Wonder Egg Priority is up there for me too, besides the fact that they just literally the bank ran dry as they got to episode 10. Wonder Egg Priority also has just like animation that I was like, man, I have not seen animation that looks this good in so long. Like it's just unbelievable. So if I was to pick out of this category, yes, I would choose Mugen Train arc. However, if I was to disqualify it because I think it should be disqualified, I think I would have to go with either Jujutsu Kaisen for its style, Dragon Maid for its cleanliness, and Mushoku Tensei, I think, for just like how also for its cleanliness and style. I think it's also just like a really beautiful show. Man, I don't know.
Name them all. Did you just name them all?
I know. I said that out loud,
one,
and
dude.
I was like, as soon as I said one, I was like, I picked this one, and then I read the next one. I was like, I picked this one, and then I read the next one. I picked this one.
You got to pick one, dude. You got to pick one.
I can't choose Mushoku Tensei because I hate it. So Jujutsu Kaisen. Okay, that's totally
What?
unbiased, and we're
Okay,
moving on.
okay.
Because holy moly, we have so many categories left, and we're already an hour in. So this next category, Crim, I think this is a skip for me because I don't think it's very easy to tell how much a director does versus the rest of the staff. Like, I don't get me wrong, like Sunny Boy and like Odd Taxi
I want
and
Sunny Boy to win.
Attack on Titan, like, you know, these are great directed shows in general, but like I literally have no idea to what extent is it like the director versus like maybe the animation director, and like I don't know. I always felt weird about best director here. Just like I feel weird about sometimes like esports teams have like best coach as like a nominee for like esports awards, and I'm like, I have no idea what the coach does like behind the scenes. It's like too hard to know.
But I mean, I think you can get a general sense of like example, like the director is going to be the person that kind of is the overarching view of it, right? Like,
but then is it just like not just best anime at that point? Like what makes I think it's hard for me to tell.
well, best. It's the same as the like when you think of movie awards, right? You still have the best movie of the year, and then you still have the best director.
Yeah, I still think
it's-
best director in that case too doesn't make sense because you have no idea. Right, like how much is it like? For example, for a movie that has like a really good director of photography, it's like, okay, so a movie has really good visuals, and that's like a highlight of the movie. How much of that is the director of photography? How much of that is the director? How much of it is like the character acting, or is that the director? Like, you know, like I don't know what the lines are. I don't have the knowledge, I think, to like actually be able to explain why, like, oh, I think Sung-Hoo Park's Jujutsu Kaisen is better directed than Yuichiro Hayashi because like XYZ. Like I personally just don't have the knowledge there, so like I don't know personally.
Well, I mean, and I think the reason why I do like this category example, so if we were to look at this category, I would pick Sunny Boy because, well, if you like look at Shingo Natsumi's like stuff, he's always doing abstract things. Right, so usually he seems to be the centerpiece of most of his stuff, and you could tell it's by him because he pulls like weird, like example, different art styles and like artists to work on the show. And
but does he work with the same artists, or is it the same studio? Like I don't know the rest of the cast that's behind it, right? And so like I agree, Sunny Boy probably is, I think, like a really like personal to the director, I think, but like I don't know, like Odd Taxi also I think is like a wonderfully directed anime, but I wonder how much of that is just like it's a good anime, so therefore it's like well directed, right? Like I don't know. Okay. And is like Wonder Egg Priority a bad director because like the ending, or is that like a marketing influence because they forced them to like try to extend the show? Like is it the producer's fault that they ran out of money, or is it the director's? Like I don't know personally, so that's just me. If I had a gun to my head and was told like you have to choose a best director here, I'm gonna go with the Odd Taxi guy. But yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so then we'll go on to the next one then.
Okay, I mean, and you would pick Sunny Boy, right? Just to reiterate,
I would pick Sunny Boy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like gun to my head, pick that. So yeah, the next one is going to be best fight scene. You've got Eren Yeager versus Warhammer Titan. And then we've got Naruto Uzumaki versus Ishiki Naruto versus Ishiki in Boruto Next Generations. Yuji and Yuji and Todo versus Hanami. And then Yuji and Nobara versus Iso and versus Kishizu. And then, of course, Elma versus Toru and Vivi versus Yugo Kakutani. So, of these, there's 2 Jujutsu Kaisen fight scenes on here. I was conflicted. I look, I love Vivi and the fight scenes that it's had. I don't like Boruto as a show. and I don't like Attack on Titan. So that kind of made that kind of easy. But now I like that Elma versus Toru is on here because first off, I love Elma. Second off, I mean, the animation was so good. This is the first, like, I didn't expect it. This was so weird for me. So I thought that, like, I'm happy to see that Dragon Maid's fight scene is being mentioned because this was not what I expected to happen in season 2 at all. So this was a very cool fight scene. But regardless, but like how cool and unsuspected that was, it's Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Like one of the winner of this category is going to be one of the Jujutsu Kaisen fight scenes because the Hanami fight scene with Yuji and Toto. Oh, that was so cool, dude. The constant clapping of the hands, all the motions that were going on, the style of the fight. Oh my god, dude. And then that was when Yuji got to do some Black Flash stuff, but then also you have the Nobara fight where they're fighting the brothers, right? And oh my god, when she finally dude, that scene that they have as the thumb right now is so badass. When she finally gives that Nobara evil grin almost with all of the tattoos and marks going down her from the poison. Oh, dude, that scene was so sick. I think I have to choose the Nobara and Yuji fight. I think I have to choose the Nobara and Yuji fight. I really like the Toto fight too because of the constant clapping and moving around, but. Yeah, no, it's Yuji and Nobara versus Hanami. I mean, versus the brothers, I think. Wait, no, maybe it's no, it's gonna be Yuji and Nobara. Final answer, or else I'm gonna just keep alternating between the two.
I'm actually closer on some of these other fights than I think you are. Let me just double check the Vivi fight and just confirm if that's the.
The Vivi fight was very good too, by the way.
The Vivi fight is the one. Oh, okay. It's the one, yeah. It's the one where it's at the end of Antonio's arc, and there's the simultaneous hand-to-hand combat that's happening, but then the
which is extremely well done.
Yeah, extremely well done.
Suited some of that or something because
Okay, so I think Vivi versus Yugo Kakitani, great fight, but not a vaunted anime fight scene of the year thing. I think it's definitely top tier though. Eren Yeager versus Warhammer Titan was also a awesome fight, but I don't think it's top tier. I'm always so sad that Boruto fights always make it on here because I'm never going to watch Boruto, but I always end up watching the fight scenes because the fight scenes are literally movie quality. But even that said, the Ishiki fight versus Naruto isn't even one of the better Boruto fights. So for me, I'm I don't care. It's beautiful and whatnot, but it doesn't. I'm always going to be a little bit biased against Boruto because I don't have the same. It doesn't have the same impact for me. I think it was either a year or 2 years ago. There's a Boruto fight that I thought had way more impact, whereas both Naruto and Sasuke fighting one of the angel people. I forgot what they're called. And that fight was like god tier, and so that was my pick that year. But now we have two Jujutsu Kaisen fights, both of which I think are. I mean, everyone who watches that, it's just nerd chills all the way down, and it's fantastic. And I think both those fights are when they happened, I just remember just my jaw dropping to the ground and just being how can this show be this cool? It's just too cool. And the Hanami fight was awesome because you got to experience Toto's clamp way of fighting for the first time, and so there's that impact of oh my god, that's how he fights. And Hanami just felt like this ethereal monster thing that we've never even seen before, so alien compared to everything else. So that had a lot of impact on me. But then the brothers fight, that was the first time we got to see Nobara go off, and the way that she fights is so brutal, and the way they animated her hammer skills there too, had this impact and sound that I loved. Also fantastic. And then Elma versus Toru was also crazy.
It was
dude.
really good.
That scene was insane. And like it just culminated from this entire long sort of like arc that happened in that Kobayashi's arc where they was talking about Elma and Toru's kind of convoluted past together and sort of how they never really saw eye to eye and they've just sort of like pushed it down. And this was the moment where they kind of let it all like bubble forth and like they actually could. Oh,
the flexing.
Yeah, I mean they talked with their fists, but you know they flexed it out with some dope ass animation. So this one's really tight for me. I actually like between the two Jujutsu Kaisen fights and Elma versus Toru. I think it's very very close. If I was to pick one, I think I liked the Nobara Yuji fight more than I liked the Hanami fight. And I also like the Elma. I think the Hanami fight of those three, I felt like was the weakest. Mainly because like I thought the hand clapping thing was cool, but it wasn't like the Black Flash is cool too, but like the I thought the centerpiece of that fight was really the hand clap thing because like. The Hanami fight, the reason why I think it's less good than the other two is like a lot of it is just narrative dumping. Like they were like, oh, see, Todo can switch places as he's doing this, and it's like a lot of side playing. Same thing with Black Flash. Like a lot of the reason of the impact of why Black Flash was cool was like people were like, oh, like no one can ever do it twice because it's like blah, blah, blah. You know, like they were just like explain through it, and I don't know, it just. Like the animation for Black Flash was cool, but like the surrounding narrative stuff I thought slowed it down quite a bit compared to like Nobara and Yuji's fight, which like story wise had so much impact with like the brothers who cared for each other. That was like a big like impactful moment that like, oh, these guys cared for each other, and he's like trying to think his way through like, do I sacrifice myself for my brother? Do I sacrifice my brother for myself? Like, what do I do in this situation? Like that tension there was so beautiful. And so I'm going to give it to the Nobara Yuji fight personally, but I think it's close. This is we had some great fights this year.
Yeah.
Man. We had some great fights. Okay. Alrighty. Let's move on.
Home stretch.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Best antagonist: Eren Yeager, Attack on Titan, Final Season Part 1. Tomura Shigaraki, My Hero Academia Season 5. Yano from Odd Taxi. Echidna from ReZero, Ainosuke Shindo, otherwise known as Adam from Escape the Infinity, and Teta Kisaki, Tokyo Revengers. Okay. You know, Kisaki, honestly looking... Yeah, no, go for it.
Kisaki didn't do enough in season 1, to be honest. He just showed up, he was there, he's like, yeah, okay, obviously you're annoying and you're like a problem, but like, did he actually do anything? I don't think I saw any of his like master plan fully take into effect, right? Mm-hmm. Not yet, at least. So... he's not in the running for this.
Also, fun fact, I feel like Teta Kisaki looks just like Valorant's Chamber. They have a very striking...
Exactly. Chamber looks
exactly
like... Hold on. Chamber looks like Kisaki.
That's true.
Okay.
True. Yeah.
but yes, I totally agree on that point. Adam, dude is creepy. And that's it. That was his thing. That's all he did. Eren Yeager, as you know, I don't like Attack on Titan. So, you know, whatever. Yano, pretty cool. I like him. But not the best. So... I think, and then Echidna, I think season 2 of ReZero is straight trash, and I love season 1. It was painful for me to like see how bad season 2 of ReZero was. So I think for me, this is going to be Tomura Shigaraki. I really liked his like the League of Villains. I loved his arc when you find out about his past. They gave you so much more depth and like on who he was as a villain, which the show has desperately needed for a long time. Because there's like, oh, it's Hands Guy. That's it. that's all I knew. Regardless of the manga and what happens in the manga, I didn't know. So just based on the show, you don't really know much about him, his motives. You just know he's evil. That's it. But to find out about his past and all of that, that made me really, really feel for his character. Despite, you know, like, obviously, I'd rather not get obliterated and like, you know, sent off to the Shadow Realm. But regardless, he was a standout villain for me.
When you say sent to the Shadow Realm, I just always think, he's been minted into the blockchain, Yugi.
That's
that meme.
That meme is gas.
Yeah, so I think this is actually a pretty weak collection of antagonists overall.
Yep.
I think Yano isn't even the best antagonist in the show. Echidna, I think the Simps will love her out of this group. Teta Kisaki, like you said, didn't really get a chance to really show why he's interesting antagonist.
It ends
this
right
early.
when you.
Yeah, like we don't know. I read the manga, so I do know, but we don't know.
Yeah,
as anime
we
watchers.
we do know, but
Escape the Infinity. Adam's a stupid antagonist. Let's be honest here. I think so. For me, it really comes between Jaeger and Shigaraki. Shigaraki, like I love the My Hero or My Villain Academia arc, but I gotta say, Attack on Titan final season part 1. I have never been so like terrified by Eren Yeager like that some of the moments that happened in part 1, like the conversations that he was having with people, and you start to see sort of Eren's like personality and like what he wants and like how far he's willing to go to get what he wants. Like it's weird because in some ways I don't see Eren Yeager as like a true antagonist, but I think that's the beauty of a good antagonist, is that like it's kind of hard to see him that way, because like I think of some of the best antagonists in years previous. Like I think about the guy from Vinland Saga. I think I voted for him as like best antagonist of last year. I think Eren Yeager sort of presents sort of the same things, where like I think the best antagonists are the ones that you can kind of relate with, and I think Eren Yeager like shows why he does his thing, and you're like, okay, I can see your point. You're evil, but I see your point. So I'm going to go with Eren Yeager, but I think Shigaraki is a pretty close second for me.
All right. So that's best antagonist. So that means
Look at this,
with that you get some cheaters. You get some cheaters who get to enter twice.
Eren Yeager. I see. This is what I'm saying. He ends up on the best protagonist list and the best antagonist list, because
That's unfair.
Dude, I'm telling you, part 1 in final season part 1, Eren Yeager is like, his character is so good. So, anyways,
Well, I mean, yeah. So Eren Yeager, potential candidate for best protagonist. Yuji Itadori, Jutsu Kaisen. Joe from Megalobox 2. Otokawa from, of course, Odd Taxi. Baji from Ranking of Kings. And Ai Oto from Wonder Egg Priority. So I love Megalobox so much. And Joe got so much better in season 2.
yes,
There was so much depth. I mean, I loved season 1, and I also loved season 2. So the progression and the depth of Joe in season 2 was welcomed, and I loved that. So for me, it was tough, because it's either Joe or it's Yuji Itadori. And I love Yuji because he's not the generic, like he's an improvement, right? Like he only works because of like the predecessors before him, right? All the main characters before him. That's why I think he works. And like you would think that I would probably choose Yuji here, because I do love Yuji. I love everything about him. I think his antics, though, his mannerisms, his lightheartedness, and his happiness, and his general just Yuji Itadori demeanor is amazing. And I think he's one of the coolest characters because he has the Ender of Days inside him, right? And he's willing, like, he is straight up going to like Sukuna is not exactly the best thing to have inside you, right? So he could at any point just end the world.
I know some people who would say otherwise.
Okay, yeah, well, those people are that's what we call thirsty. So phrasing, yes, but like also legit, I can't decide, because I genuinely really like Yuji, but I also really liked Joe. So I'm going to pick probably Yuji, actually.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
I mean, as much as you are a simp for Jujutsu Kaisen, I do think Yuji is like a kind of best of shonen protagonist, right? Like he's happy-go-lucky, but he works for his victories. He like Yeah, I don't know. He's just so likable. You want to cheer for Yuji because he has this sort of demeanor that keeps him like lighthearted and stuff, but he's so willing to do whatever it takes for his friends, and it's so admirable in that in his quality for that. So
Right.
I agree with you. Yuji's fantastic. I think Joe got such a glow up in Megalobox 2 in terms of character. Like in Megalobox 1, he's just like, I'm angry and I want to be the best. I want to be the best, man. That's all I want to be. I want to be the best. And you're like, that's great, Joe. You go do that, man. You do that. And then in the second season, he's like, oh God, being the best wasn't worth it, man. I fucking lost everything from trying to be the best.
And I'm hardcore into drugs.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah, and so like he has a lot of character growth in season 2, which I thought was what made season 2 great. I actually, despite the fact that I always, I'm always shilling for Ranking of Kings, I think Boji's actually, he's a good protagonist in that he's a good mirror to the things that happen around him. And you want to cheer for Boji because I like his character a lot, but I see him more as a mirror to all the things around him, which I think makes him less convincing for me in this category. I actually want to say I love Odokawa from Odd Taxi. I think one of the things that is so great about Odd Taxi is Odokawa is sort of unique in that he gets by just by being really analytical and smart, and like because the show is centered around this sort of mystery and intrigue of the events that are happening around him, seeing the world through his eyes and getting to sort of experience the pure dryness of his world was like kind of interesting. He's just so unique. I don't know. So for me, it's a real toss up between Joe, Odd Taxi, and Yuji, and I think I'm gonna have to give it to Odokawa because you could not replace him as a character. I think he's like so uniquely qualified to be the protagonist of his anime, and like I think he's just so perfect for the show. He's like, it's weird because I see Odd Taxi as being kind of like a perfect little puzzle piece, and you really can't take out any piece and insert something else in there without it being like worse. And I think that's a sign of something really special. And I think
same with Yuji though.
Yuji's like, I mean, he
been
embodies
thousands
a trope,
of years since there's been a vessel for Sukuna, dude. So no one else could do it, man.
He's Naruto with a glow up.
He's better than Naruto, okay? But he only works because Naruto happens.
So that's just way. Okay, we're gonna have to fist fight over this next category, though.
The next category, best girl, dude. All of them are disqualified because the main ones aren't here. There's already a glaring snub. Mm-hmm. There's 5 glaring snubs, actually. There should already be 5 characters on here. And then Toru or something. One? So the quintessential goddamn quintuplets, dude. Nowhere in sight. Nowhere in sight. Okay, I don't care which one it is, whichever quintuplet you prefer. I don't care. The point here is any of them should be on here, if not all of them. This category should just be which quintuplet would you choose, not best girl, okay? Because that's the only category. Look, Komi's great. She's cool. 86, that girl sucks. I didn't watch Shoujo. I mean, dude, no. And then Toro, okay, Toro, I understand, she's great. And then Nobara, okay, she's pretty cool too. But like, dude, no, quintessential quintuplets, or what about a certain anime that was a romance anime? Horimiya. Oh wow, yeah. Why is Hori Kyoko not on here? Yeah. Okay, like so there's a lot of characters that I think are like just that have been snubbed. So yeah. I think that the fact that quintuplets are not on here are just upsetting. Crunchyroll, you will now. Oh God, Crunchyroll, please, dude.
They just wanted to avoid getting shot by quintuplets. Like imagine they were like, okay, look, we got Sarasa Watanabe from Kageki Shoujo. But instead of that, we could also pick a quintessential quintuplet, and everyone's like, no, I'm not touching that.
Why would you pick that? Oh, no, dude, this is best girl. No, this is Miku should be on there. Just saying, by the way, I'm going to clarify that now
Oh
for
my
all you
God.
Nino lovers and like, whatever. Like
Nino
that's fine. They're all great.
gang.
Nino gang is cool, but like it's Miku. So there is no debate. There are no other nominees. It's Miku. I don't choose anything from here, but I guess if I had to, by God, if gun to my head, I had to choose one of these characters, I would take the bullet. But actually, okay. Fine. All right, fine. But then you respawned me and brought me back to life and then held the gun back to my head again. I would take the bullet again. And then, then when you
You're
find
just
me
Doctor
in
Stranding
hell.
yourself.
Yes, I'm in a loop of
Dormammu, I've
constant-
come to.
Crunchyroll, I've come to
bargain.
bargain. But like, oh God, after like dying 999,000 times and using the time stone every time, I guess I would choose Toru.
That's a good pick. Dude, it's hard.
Or
I
Komi.
think.
Actually, it's probably Komi. Komi's funny.
Komi isn't even the best girl of her own show. I'm just gonna say it straight
Wait,
up.
do you like the Yandere girl?
Najimi, dude? Najimi. That's all I have to say.
Not Yandere girl? That's kind of weird. All right, I thought you would have chosen her. Okay, well, all right. Well, that's news to me. So, but yes. Okay, fine. So Toru it is.
Toru, wrap it up. I think Nobaru's great. I think she also deserves,
she deserves
she could be a
mention.
good runner up. I think she's great, but man, it's hard to beat.
Well, I mean, she'd be the seventh best option, and Toru being the sixth best option, and then there's 5 before it.
Oh God!
I'll just put like seriously, remove this category. You do, like when they should have removed this category and just put which quintuplet do you choose? That's it. God damn, dude. Who works at Crunchyroll? Not me.
Okay, so top 5 we have Itsuki, we have Ichika, we have Yotsuba, we have Nino, and then of course we have Raiha Uesugi, and then and then we go into the current nominees, right? So we have Honda, Toru, and then after a couple more, I think we have Miku on there, right? So I think that's the correct order there. So I'm glad we could agree that the top 5
So
spots
like
should be-
number wise, okay, technically you're right. You are correct. Number 1. Okay, all right, dude. All right. I'll concede there. All right, I'll give you that one. But it's Miku. Freaking Miku, dude.
and Andy's gone.
There is only one, dude.
Oh my
right.
God. Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, as we were saying before, I was crying about things being snubbed. Don't worry, there's nobody I specifically would choose for best girl. So yeah, what's the next category?
Well, the next category we have Best Boy. And this time we have Senku Ishigami from Dr. Stone. We have Izumi Miyamura from Horimiya. We have Odokawa, Odd Taxi, Boji from Ranking of Kings. We have Draken from Tokyo Revengers. And we have Mikey from Tokyo Revengers.
Who made this list? How are you gonna put? Okay, you put Miyamura on there. You
Yep.
don't have his other half. You don't have his other half?
Yeah.
What is going on? Okay, anyways, all right, whatever, dude. So at this point, Best Boy, I think like the people are the thirstiest, at least to my knowledge, are the thirstiest for Mikey. So I think it's either Mikey or Draken that's gonna win this because, and then if you're into Odokawa, that's cool too. That's Best Boy, that works. So, but like Senku, I mean he is kind of cool. Boji, dude, you want to root for him? He's pretty cool. Miyamura. Okay, Miyamura like is just a charmer, right? Like Miyamura is a charmer. God damn, I love his charm. God damn, dude. Okay, all right. Actually, I said Mikey. I lied to you because I want Miyamura, and then it would be Draken, and then Mikey.
Yeah, I think, okay, so in Best Boy category, I think of like people I want to protect and people
Yeah.
who are just awesome, right?
Well,
and for
Draken and Mikey probably protect us. If we're being
that's actually
completely
true. Yeah,
honest.
I mean, Mikey is probably maybe one of the best bodyguards you could possibly ask for. Same thing with Draken. I think if I was going to give Best Boy though, I'm gonna have to give it to Boji. Man, there's everything about Boji. You just want to root for him, and he's so lovable, and he's so kind-hearted, and he's trying so hard.
You want to protect him.
Yeah, and he can protect you. That's a spoiler. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, now I can't watch the show. Show's over, dude.
No,
Show
you
sucks,
need to
dude.
watch it. You need to watch it.
I mean,
but I like this category. I think is stacked. Like I love Draken. I love Mikey. I think they're both awesome. They're notice how out of all the Tokyo Revengers characters, it's Draken and Mikey, and not what's his face, Mr. Crybaby himself.
I forgot about him actually.
Takemichi. Yeah, he just doesn't exist in the show, in his own show. And I love Miyamura, so I don't know. Otokawa, even though I love him as a character, I don't really like him in like the best boy kind of way.
I would not want to be around him. Like he does not seem like someone like, yo, let's invite Otokawa to the party. You know, like I don't want dude, I do not want you here. You're a downer, man. You're a bummer. like Miyamura, like, okay, if we're going by best boy, I'm gonna go with who I think is best. Like I would invite them over at a party to hang out with. And I think that's Miyamura, dude. Draken, I'm afraid I think Draken might beat me up regardless. So, and the same with Mikey. So actually, Mikey though is closer to hanging out. Although Draken's my favorite. But like,
dude, no way.
Like,
Mikey is way more likely to beat your ass up just for something random than Draken. Draken's a man of morals, so that's why he's so good.
I guess that's true. He does have a code. So maybe okay. As long as I don't cross his code and hit on Mikey's sister in front of him or something like that, I guess I'm fine, right? So but Miyamura is a homie. First off, as someone who has piercings and feels like I was in Miyamura's place at a point. Dude, we would sit and just talk about just random things. Like, he just seems like a good dude to have around, and he just
seems
nice.
like a big chiller.
Yeah, and if he needed to, he would drop he'd throw hands only if he absolutely needed to.
Yeah.
So I think I'd pick Miyamura, dude.
Miyamura's up there. I think Boji's up there for me. I'd be happy with either one. Pretty much just anyone on this list besides Otokawa and Senku, personally.
Senku feels like he would just correct you after. Actually, it's just like, no, god damn it, dude. All right, fine.
Definitely a blue player in Magic.
Actually, that's not how you do that.
But yeah, so that's best boy. Okay, here we go. We finally got here. An hour and a half in. We've got 2 Anime of the Year nominations. Oh, baby. Okay. First up, we have 86. That's sure. Attack on Titan, Final Season, Part 1. Jujutsu Kaisen, Core 2. Odd Taxi, Ranking of Kings, and Sunny Boy. Okay, so we're just gonna cross out 86, right? We're just gonna let's ignore that. Okay,
throw that away. Okay, sure.
And I know you haven't watched Attack on Titan Final Season Part 1. I thought it was fantastic, but I think
would you choose that as Anime of the Year?
No, it would not be. So let's just scoot that out. I loved Final Season Part 1. There were some great moments in it, but let's just push that aside. Because I wouldn't choose it anyways either. So here we go. Let's talk about these other 4 shows. Jujutsu Kaisen Core 2.
We just talked about our favorite fight scene. We finally, so many things happened in Jujutsu Kaisen Core 2 that oh my god, it's so good. It closed so well. The resolution of numerous story arcs that had happened. The characters, oh my god, the fight scenes and everything that happened in this show. It was so fudging good. I was about to swear, but I didn't because it's so good, though. And I love Jujutsu Kaisen like an unholy amount. So I really want to choose this as my Anime of the Year, but I can't forget Sunny Boy. Sunny Boy, I mean, did not get any love out in any of these categories. Granted that there aren't a ton of sci-fi anime, which is a problem, but when you think about what Sunny Boy is and the questions that it asks and the numerous, the rewatchability of this show and the weirdness, the abstract things, there's just so many things here. The odd style of animation that was really cool and actually matches the weird multi-dimensional things that they talk about and timelines. Dude, Sunny Boy is a damn good anime, and I know it won't win because so many other things here are way more popular, but I think that Sunny Boy is a strong contender for best anime of the year, if not just narrowly losing out to my smooth brain love for Jujutsu Kaisen. and I cannot without I cannot hesitate enough to tell like people to watch Sunny Boy. Actually, I can't hesitate because it's weird and really hard to comprehend at times, and I had to watch it like 3 times completely through. But even after watching it 3 times completely through, Sunny Boy nails it from every standpoint too. Like its opener is a banger, and then the like they use the same song in the opener sometimes at the end, and then when you listen to the lyrics of the song, oh my god, it perfectly lines up with the anime and things that it depicts. Like, oh. It was so well put together in every way. So I have to choose, but you choose first because I got to figure out which one I'm going to choose. Oh, man.
So, okay. So if I was to stack rank the rest of the anime, so we have Odd Taxi, Sunny Boy, Ranking of Kings, Jujutsu Kaisen. Personally speaking, Sunny Boy is on the bottom of that list. I think it's an interesting show. I think this is like one of those things that like, as an art piece is fascinating and intriguing. I'm not saying Sunny Boy is bad by any means at all, but I do think that it is not really a show that I can watch I don't know. It's again, it feels almost like a completely separate category. Like if I could say which, if there was an awards thing for show of the year that is closest to being an art piece, that like that would be Sunny Boy. Sunny Boy is like an art piece in that like it's very abstract. Its storytelling is like very. The way I'd put it is like it's like an impressionist painting put into an anime form.
He's saying that people who like this are the weeby hipsters.
Yeah, actually, probably true because like I think Sunny Boy is going to attract that sort of like, well, you didn't actually study the animation frames on frame 720 because you can see clearly there like. I think Sunny Boy has that sort of quality that like I think like people who really enjoy sort of the abstractness of it and will identify, I think, with the sort of like, because the way I would describe Sunny Boy is that it tells a story through emotions rather than through actual storytelling. Like you kind of get a sort of impressionist look at what is happening, and you can understand the feelings of the characters through sort of like strange non-direct storytelling, which I think is very interesting and gives for a very interesting experience. That said, my personal enjoyment of the show was still not that high for me, even despite knowing that. I'm going to put that under everything else here. Jujutsu Kaisen, amazing, fantastic.
Under 86? Oh wait, no, under the 4.
80,
okay,
under the 4.
Okay.
Next is Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen is amazing. I love the fight scenes. I think the characters are great. I think Jujutsu Kaisen in some ways is like the best shonen has ever been. Like it feels like Jujutsu Kaisen is like the Omicron variant of shonen, where like it's gone through the alpha, it's gone through beta, it's gone through delta, it's gone through all these variations, and now we've distilled it into Omicron, and boy is it good. Like okay, maybe comparing it to COVID is maybe not the best idea.
But I'm just saying where you're going.
I'm just saying that like Jujutsu Kaisen just feels like the culmination of years of shonen science put into this thing, and I think
it's refined
wonderful.
shonen anime, like at its best. Like if you were to take like shonen extract and get it, ground it down, like this
shiny goodness,
shiny goodness. This is now the shonen like hallmark. This is the benchmark. This is the spot. This is what the bar you now need to meet for a shonen.
Yeah, I just feel like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer just have done that. They've just completely rewritten the rules of what shonen is. That said, I am more biased towards the other two shows, Odd Taxi and Ranking of Kings. Ranking of Kings has not finished, however, which puts it actually for me even under Odd Taxi. Even though I love Ranking of Kings, and even though I have loved everything about Ranking of Kings thus far, that isn't to say that the ending couldn't be great. And this is another knock also against Jujutsu Kaisen a little bit too, in that I think it's harder to rate for me things like Anime of the Year.
Don't you worry, it gets good.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't think that it'll be like suddenly bad or anything, right? But I think for ongoing shows, I think it's harder for me to give it an accurate rating because I am so. I guess like I value good endings so highly in anime, and that's where I think Odd Taxi is so special in that it is so tightly written, and like you can watch Odd Taxi several times and realize more of the through lines. Like it almost feels like Odd Taxi was written with like with like an Excel spreadsheet because of how clean all the through lines are for every person's story and how they intersect and intertwine. Like Odd Taxi is just very clean and tells the story so well in the way that it wants to. And I love each of the characters a ton.
You definitely have lots of rewatchability in the show too, because the details that they put in the show that you don't catch the first time around, this happens through multiple episodes. So you can definitely go back and watch it and each time find something new. And it is a very well written show. Odd Taxi is a very good show. Yeah.
And so for me, I'm so glad that I watched Odd Taxi before these anime awards, because it would have been such a snub for me to not have watched it and sit here and be like, oh man, I can't put Odd Taxi at the top because I haven't watched it. But I think Odd Taxi really does deserve Anime of the Year of here, and like I think it is such a special show, and I'm so excited for the movie. So, all right, Crim.
All right, so while you've been talking, I've been having my inner devils and gods kind of like just raging at each other here. So I've got my more instead of devils and gods, there's my smooth brain Fisco Burr kind of like action lover, right? Mm-hmm. And so I love my Jujutsu Kaisen, but then there's the weeby hipster in me that's like, oh, it's so abstract and random and weird, and I have to watch it numerous times over, like Donnie Darko or something. So like I can't choose. They're both so good. What if I said Jujutsu Boy?
Like, nope. You got to choose.
I think if I had to choose one, like only one, like, oh man, okay. You know what? I think this will be the thing that makes the decision for me then. So it'll come down to whatever anime that I can watch paying attention to, and an anime that I can leave on in the background, an anime that I can leave on no matter when. And one that I can throw on when I want to relax or whenever I want, like to whatever, right? And I think Jujutsu Kaisen does that. It's a general, I know everyone, boo, yeah, shonen boy vote. Oh, you're the part of the problem. Yeah, I get it. All right, but the thing here is, I do enjoy this. Like it is a genuinely just well-rounded anime. It's refined shonen. And, you know, I think the reason why that's so refreshing for me is because, you know, at 31, you've seen a lot of crap. And you've seen a lot of trash shonens that stretch on forever. And you know, like this show is able to get around all that because all of those came before it, right? But I don't know, even though fully knowing that, I can't help but just enjoy, like, this is what good shonen is like. It's like when you finally have that good cup of coffee, that good boba, that good, if you would, and that rhymed. And see, so like that's what Jujutsu Kaisen is. It's what, like, and also the biggest thing about this is it feels like the writers have actually talked to a woman before. And it seems like they know how, they know how women actually would react in some situations. Not, oh, are we in danger? Time to throw my boobies out, right? Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Or be a doormat character, right? Like, Jujutsu Kaisen generally gives me a cast of characters that I can just kick back, watch, laugh, enjoy, feel for, like, just love, and just want to genuinely see more of. So they did it. They did a good job. There's no character that I feel like I don't like here. And as I read and reading the manga, I know there are no characters I don't like. So this show has shown a lot of promise already in season 1, strictly talking the anime. It hits all the check marks. It's had a cool intro. It's got that amazing outro. And then, you know, it's got all the animation. It's got lovable characters. That's the biggest thing about long-running shows. Can the characters carry it when the story gets dull? And luckily, number 5, the story is good for what a shonen is. So yeah, I'm here for it, and I want to vote for Odd Taxi because Odd Taxi is narratively doing something different. Same with Sunny Boy. Like, those two would be my pick if I were trying to pick an anime that, like, push the boundaries of storytelling and what is anime, and also, like, just doing something different. So, like, I know that's a cop-out because in a way that's still like, oh, I choose these two also. But, like, legit, I choose Jujutsu Kaisen. That's my answer. Yeah, my brain is smooth. Whatever, dude. I'll take it. I'll take the smooth brain option because it's so good.
Hey, you know, that's it's a good thing that picking an anime of the year is difficult, right? Like anytime that the decision is difficult, it means one, the nominees they chose were good, and two,
Well, except
is
86.
that except 86. That's not how about. But two
Like
is that there were
quintuples.
good enough anime for it. So actually, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's do some conclusory thoughts as we end this super long episode about this stuff. But like, I think there were some notable exclusions and a couple of things that like I was kind of surprised about. Like, I am surprised about Miruko-chan basically not being on this at all. I don't think there was a single nomination for it, and I thought that was interesting because I thought it was such a standout show for me. So I'm surprised.
Miruko-chan and like, you know, there's like 5 other reasons I think that I could name that probably should have been somewhere on here, like 5 pink-haired, reddish-haired.
I think Quintessential Quintuplets is a pretty damn good show, and also
Right?
like what you know. So it's funny because like there were some shows that I was like, oh, I'm surprised that they mentioned like Uramichi Nii-Chan or Heaven Design Team, and like some of these are shows that I think are much less popular than some of their counterparts. And so I was surprised like a show as popular as Miruko-chan didn't actually make it up on the list.
Right, like Miruko-chan, it was like extremely popular, right? And it was a good show. It was enjoyable, right? So surprised to not see that. Surprised to not see any quintessential quintuplets. I'm surprised that we didn't even see like any of Remake Our Life on like some of these categories. Not maybe anime of the year or anything, but it definitely I think was a feel good show and a solid show. That as I mentioned before, depicted the like more of adult life, the college life of like anime, right? So like Senpai is annoying. I think that should have been at least somewhere on there. And you know, it's kind of weird, but if you would have asked me a couple months ago, I would have said Fena should have been somewhere on there. And then I saw the ending, so I'm, you know what?
But I also think it's like a huge hallmark thing to show how far My Hero Academia has fallen. That we went through a entire season of Academia and basically wasn't nominated for like anything.
I kind of forgot it happened this year, except
like,
for the Tomura arc. And
it was such a huge fall off when like I remember the years where like in the fight scenes there'd be like 2 different fight scenes from My Hero Academia on there. You'd always have what's his name, Midoriya in The Best Boy, you know, same thing with like Todoroki or something, right? And like Best Girl would always have Uraraka and stuff. You know, like they were just like mainstays from My Hero in a lot of these categories, and this year there wasn't. And that, I mean, to me that My Hero kind of getting ratioed /L/ you fall off / you know,
I mean,
like
well, okay.
Jujutsu Kaisen's just better.
Jujutsu Kaisen is just better, and I'll tell you what, it stays better too.
Yeah, so
Because-
it's crazy.
Yeah, like just like seeing that fall off, and that's heavily in part because again we did watch season 5, and like I felt like season 5 though was 24 episodes. It didn't start until like the villains arc.
Yeah, it was really, really weak in terms of the actual anime season overall. One show. Oh wait, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was gonna say one show that I thought would have been a lot stronger would have been Blue Period.
Oh yeah, Blue Period.
I thought you know how we were talking about like, you know, like kind of like Oscar bait.
Oh
This
yeah,
would
Blue
fall
Period
under that.
definitely feels like award bait type of show. Like feelsy, you know, it's produced by Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like yeah, like I'm just surprised that the show didn't do better. And I don't, it's not like the Netflix barrier is a thing because Comey. So it just watching the show, it does fall off and it drags and it never really progresses any farther. So
Yeah. One of the shows that I wanted to mention that I thought was fantastic and didn't really get added to any of these lists was actually Zombieland Saga Revenge. I actually thought Zombieland Saga Revenge was a pretty damn good show. It's pretty highly ranked on my anime list too. So I'm surprised that that didn't get mentioned at all, like either for best girl or even like, I don't know, comedy as well, because like the comedy section of the awards were kind of weak, and I think Zombieland Saga is an amazing show on that regard too. So I'm surprised that didn't end up there. So yeah, I don't know. I'll take it. I understand, like, there's limited spots. Some shows are just going to be more popular than others, but I did think it was interesting to mention how like My Hero definitely fell off, man. And
I mean, but that's because the quality of the show has.
Yeah,
So.
and that's just anime moves on, man. You gotta keep it up. So yeah. Anyways, that's kind of our roundup on all the Crunchyroll awards. It was a long episode. I hope you guys kept up with us here. But yeah, so let us know what you guys thought about the anime awards on Crunchyroll. Let us know if we forgot some notable mentions and stuff. I thought we did a pretty good, thorough job on it, and talked about our reasoning for each of the sections. So with that said, thank you guys for watching / listening as always, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.